Brandon Herrera, the STG-44, the original assault rifle. I believe Palmetto Armory is the ones making an STG-44 clone. I don't know if his is original or if it's one of theirs, but we'll have to see. Up to wants to be a historian too. Up to was told to go back to doing something I was more suited for, like digging dirt. Up to hates academia. I have multiple rants about academia. I am one term paper away from also having a degree as a historian. And, you know, just to be able to shut some people up, I really, really wish I had done that term paper. It's original audio, it's a video. Well, hey, don't tell me. I'm going to hit play in a second anyways. I'm just being distracted. All right, I'm hitting play before anyone spoils anything else.
The AK-47 and the M16 platform of rifles are two of the most iconic assault rifles of all time. But what do those two things have in common? They were both used to kill communists. On the AK-47 side, it was mostly used by communists to kill communists who complained about bread lines a little too loud. That's neither here nor there. What else do they have in common? Well, they have a common ancestor. The gun that would forever change warfare by really popularizing the idea of the modern assault rifle, or storm rifle, if you will. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sturmgewehr, or the STG-44.
Such a distinctive chug whenever it does fire.
I call this one the journalist.
Yes! Very yes.
Oh, I love the smell of Holland in the morning. Smells like Operation Market Garden. Ladies and mostly gentlemen, the Sturmgewehr. Those who know will know, but for those who don't know, let me break it down to you. This is the grandfather of the modern assault rifle, and that is the case for a couple of ways. So first off, a little bit about the gun itself. This rifle was developed during the tail end of World War II by the legendary firearm designer Hugo Schmeisser, also the man who revolutionized modern warfare with the basic invention of the submachine gun with the MP-18. So after changing the trajectory of firearm history once, he decided to do it again with the STG-44. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Brandon, the last time you tried to talk about a German machine gun of World War II that was used by the Nazis, the leftists tried to cancel you. Well, Antonio Gonzalez, he tried to cancel me. So yeah, leftists tried to cancel me. Yes, that is true.
Yep.
People tried to paint me as a neo-Nazi for thinking that German weapons of World War II were cool and wanting to talk about them, despite the fact that in that video, I specifically said I didn't like Nazis. But hey, don't let me ruin a good smear campaign with those pesky facts. But I'm here talking.
Tony Gonzalez's stuff is like, I'm kind of amazed Brandon Herrera hasn't actually sued him yet. I realize that as politicians, they're allowed, apparently, to say much meaner things about each other that most people can't do without getting into slander and libel laws. But man, Tony Gonzalez's smear campaigns are special grades of falsifying information.
But hey, don't let me ruin a good smear campaign with those pesky facts. But I'm here talking about it today because I think this is one of the most fascinating parts of the evolution of the modern combat firearm. And again, because I think history is cool. regardless of how pussies feel about it. But anyhow, the story of its adoption is actually one of the cooler ones. So German leadership really identified with the potential of the STG-44. So you have to remember, in 1944, the average rifle being issued to an infantryman looked nothing like this. Looked a lot more like a bolt-action Mauser or Lee Enfield's. America kind of had a big dick swing in with the M1 Garand because that was at the bare minimum semi-automatic. Of course, things like the MP40 and the Thompson were fully automatic, but those are submachine guns, so they're still shooting pistol calibers. There really wasn't much that bridged the gap between a submachine gun and a rifle caliber cartridge that could be used at extended distances, that carried a lot more firepower. So that's when Schmeisser said, hold my German stout, and came out with the STG-44, which really perfectly bridges that gap. I mean, you have so many features of a modern assault rifle in this, from the pistol grip to the ability to be select fire. So this goes from semi-automatic to fully automatic with the flip of a button. You have detachable magazines with an intermediate cartridge, a smaller rifle cartridge, not the crazy big, 30-06, 8mm Mauser like a lot of rifles used at the time. Something a little smaller, more compact, and more importantly, something easier to hold a lot of, and for the average infantry soldier to be able to carry a lot of. I mean, there's just so many design features of this that are ahead of its time, really, for what was commonplace in 1944. So a lot of the people that were going to be issued this really loved it. A lot of the German leadership really loved it. You know who didn't love it? Hitler. But no joke, Hitler apparently, as
the number of good ideas that man shot down is absolutely incredible. He did a substantial amount of the Allies' work for them. I love that he was an idiot. Yes, 350, yay! Canadian, hate Tony. Oof, oof, oof. That's quite a curse you're putting on him. I hope you succeed. But yeah, look at how many things he screwed up. Jets, tanks, assault rifle, battlefield planning, which side of the war to fight, who to focus resources on, how to manage the military. The list goes on of the look up how many bad decisions he look up oversimplified history and the number of in the number of Nerf darts sticking out of him. You'll understand if you watch oversimplified history.
didn't love it? Hitler. But no joke, Hitler apparently, as the story goes, really did not like the idea of the Sturmgewehr, or really anything that wasn't submachine guns. He was apparently infatuated with the idea of the submachine gun and said, we need more things like the MP40, which, if you've ever shot one, dope. I understand what the hang-up was. It's a pretty cool weapon. So apparently he wanted to shit-can the STG to focus on more submachine guns, which, I mean, if you know anything about where the future of small arms went after that, you know that that was not a good idea. I know this may be shocking to some of you, but Hitler wasn't exactly right about a lot of things. But a lot of the German leadership did see the potential in what this gun could become. So that's why they pulled a little sneaky on him. Moving forward, instead of calling it the STG-44, they manufactured the same gun while giving it a submachine gun designation, which is the MP-44, which is why you hear those names used interchangeably. This gun that we actually have here today is marked MP-44, so this would be one of those guns. Apparently he got wise to that too, and of course the rest is history. Not like it really mattered from that point on. By the time it was all decided, things weren't exactly going well for them. It's kind of hard to get verified specific details on that, and a paper trail and a lot of those things, but that is the story of the STG-44/MP-44. It's also worth noting that this...
I was actually thinking, why don't you just sell it to him as a super submachine gun? But clearly that didn't work either. Yeah, of course it's censored. Why wouldn't it be? The one front you didn't have to engage in a land war in Russia in winter. Yep. Okay, that is a fair point about the production of that gun affecting other guns. I would point out that at that point it actually wouldn't have been a bad idea to just cancel some of the other guns. But, he lost, so making that decision made it easier for him to lose, so I'm not going to complain. Super submachine gun would have sold him on the idea alone. Probably. It's not a new battle rifle. It's a better submachine gun.
But that is the story of the STG-44/MP44. It's also worth noting that this example of the STG-44 that we have here with us today is an original. It was rebuilt from a parts kit, but it is a re-weld from an original gun, which means this is a beautiful piece of history that I have the privilege to show you on the channel today. ADD break. Here I thought we'd try something a little different with our standard White Claw penetration test. What we're gonna do this time is use our lovely volunteer right here, and we're gonna shoot an apple off of his head. Oh, pineapple. Close enough. Getting banned from the carnival in 3, 2, 1. Well, looks like our guy's pretty safe. Never let them know your next move. So, got our claw here. And yeah, that's pretty well ripped up. But we're not just demonstrating that the 8mm Kurz can penetrate a White Claw. Kind of saw that one coming. Even though I was in full auto with the fairly manageable cyclic rate of the STG-44, I was able to squeeze off exactly 1 round and do it accurately. Albeit that was at handgun distance, but you get the point. Now, I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, but we actually did get a finished firing AK-50. And I bet you'd probably want to be one of the first people that gets to shoot it. Well, you actually can. From now until midnight on Tuesday, May 28th, we are doing a giveaway that one lucky donor to my congressional campaign is going to get a trip with you and a +1 to come out to San Antonio, Texas, and be one of the first people to shoot the AK-50. Not only that, but to sweeten the pot, you'll actually be able to, if you want, cameo in the next AK-50 video that we do from that point. So you get to be one of the first people to shoot the finished AK-50, and you can be in one of our videos. Every increment of $5 is a new entry to win. Links to the campaign are down in the description and in the pinned comment. So on top of it, not only are you entering to win a trip to San Antonio, hang out with us, shoot the AK-50, maybe be in a video, but you're also helping unseat a gun control rhino. And really just sending a big middle finger to Washington, D.C. and all the establishment in it, which, I don't know, to me that's sounds like a damn good deal to me. I'd take that deal. You take that deal?
I'd take that deal.
Damn good deal. So let's say your name is War Daddy, you're trekking through France, and you happen to get your hands on one of these. You better know how to use it. Well, the ergos, I mean, for a gun from 1944, actually pretty rad. Pretty close to modern. So let's start with our safety. This is my safety, sir. So here your selector position is in safe, as you cannot pull the trigger. And when you drop it down to fire, obviously you can. Magazine release is this big old button here. The magazine is real stiff, but there you are. I'm gonna go ahead and show clear. No ammunition in the gun. So one of the things that makes this an assault rifle, and yes, that is a real term. A lot of people want to say that, oh, assault rifle is not a real word. It's just a term that was made up by the left to try to push gun control and scare people. No, you're thinking of the term assault weapon. Assault weapon doesn't have a real definition. Assault rifle, very real thing. It's an intermediate cartridge rifle that has the ability to be select fire, meaning you can toggle it from semi to fully automatic. This is an assault rifle. In fact, this invented the word assault rifle. This was an assault rifle before assault rifles were cool. Just called a Sturmgewehr a hipster. Anyhow, this is your fire selector. So this is what allows you to go from semi to full auto. So right here, we have it in semi. So when I reset this, it's in full auto, I forgot. So right now it's full auto, let's pop it into semi. So here, if I pull the trigger, and I rack let's say I fired a round, it resets. Not another round is fired. I have to go off the trigger and then pull it again to fire another round. But when I push this through, then every time
you know what?
Automatically.
I was gonna comment on the amount of that trigger travel, but it seems like it is very, very smooth, so I am probably wrong. fact that giving it an MP mark worked for a little while says it all. Yep. You win, make up to your +1. We can talk about that. Can't enter contest because Canadian makes me say, yes, I'm sorry. To those of you who don't even have a chance, you have my condolences. Because it's the AK-50, man.
Every time it fires, automatically fires another round. But speaking of intermediate cartridge, the ammo that we were using is 8mm Kurz, which is this bad boy right here. If this looks familiar, it should, because this looks exactly like 7.62 by 39, another intermediate cartridge. This, of course, being AK food. This, of course, being, well, the thing that started it all. Or realistically, it's just 7.62 by 39 when it's cold outside. It's also pretty expensive, so we appreciate Denver Bullets for helping us out with some of this stuff. Also now, because you've been good little boys and girls, I'm gonna give you a little something extra as a treat. This right here is an AK chambered in the same caliber as the STG-44 8mm Kurz. This is actually a project build from our head gunsmith, Zach. Just a Khyber Pass kind of build in 8mm Kurz. Apparently they do that over there, and I think actually, if I'm not mistaken, that's where this magazine is from. So he's done a lot of things to it to give it that Khyber Pass kind of look. Whether it's just the mismatched parts, the selector, underfolder, this custom comp on the front end, even down to one of the rivets on the trigger guard is actually made of brass, which is just, it's a bunch of little cool details. The broken off gas tube lever, even down to the Circle 69 factory stamp. Cool little build. Question is, does it run? I don't know, Zach, let's check out your handiwork.
It looks weird with the different magazines.
So it's kind of nice, you know, to see the grandkids paying homage to their ancestors, you know, considering this gun has direct lineage back to the STG-44. To have one that is chambered in the same caliber is, I don't know, I just think it's neat. That, and, you know, I'm somewhat of an AK guy myself, so figured it was worth bringing up. Now the million-dollar question. How does it work? Well, Pop
Up to is indeed largest stream contributor.
Squad. Figured it was worth bringing up. Now the million-dollar question. How does it work? Well, Papa Squad, because I'm going to tell you. I just think finding out how stuff like this works is really interesting. And if you're also interested in gunsmithing and weapons technology, then I would recommend checking out sdi.edu using the links in the description and in the pinned comment. So first off, we have a very HK-style disassembly here in the rear. Pop this pin out, like so. Pull this stock off, right off the rear. And then here we have our recoil spring. Big old spring here. Kind of like an AR buffer tube spring, really. So now,
I was just thinking
this swivels down like so. This all here is your fire control group, your trigger, your hammer, whole 9 yards. And then now we have this channel here that goes all the way through the rear. So we are going to pull out, unlikely, we're gonna pull our bolt carrier group out. And here we have our tilting bolt and our long stroke gas piston. Long stroke gas piston being one of the only things this actually has in common with an AK, really, aside from the ergonomics. A lot of people like to think that the AK is just a carbon copy of the STG-44, but that's a pretty superficial way to look at it. Really, it's only if you're looking at pictures side by side and you're a Call of Duty kid and you, you think because they look alike, they're the same thing. It's really not. There are similarities, and really the STG-44 was a big inspiration for the AK and things like it, but it's a completely different operating system. As I've discussed before, the AK's actual operating system takes a lot more inspiration from the M1 Garand. I'm not gonna tism hole with that right now. If you'd like to see that video, it's over here. That's a photo of it. I don't know if it's clickable. I forget how YouTube works sometimes. I'm tired. It's been a long election cycle. Anyhow, the way that this locks up is that when this is in the gun, it locks on this surface down here by tilting down and locking right behind the magwell. So this tilts down like this, and then when the bolt carrier comes back, it picks it up and out of that groove, and then the gun cycles. The best way to demonstrate this is...
I don't know why I did not know that wasn't that was a tilting lock. That is such a weird and specific thing for it to have. I don't know why I didn't know that.
and out of that groove, and then the gun cycles. The best way to demonstrate this is actually in the gun. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that back together. Get in there. Anyway, check out the, through the ejection port here. You can kind of see as this claw comes back, it picks up that bolt. This bolt is tilted down slightly to lock. And then when this picks it up, it grabs it and pulls it out of that channel. And then when it goes back forward, it drops back down. And I just think that's pretty neat. Also, last little note here.
It is.
This dust cover.
It is a very weird and
reminiscent
specific thing.
of the AR-15. Again, little details like that. Very neat to see. You know, really in firearm design, there's something that I say a lot, and it's become a running joke in the shop. There's nothing new under the sun. There really is a million ways that things that are being done today have been done throughout firearm history, developing different branches of the family trees of guns that exist. And it's just kind of neat to see all these little nuances in guns that came 80 years before. I think it's neat. And if you've watched this far, you do too. Because after all, it's our autism, and we get to choose the special interest. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the STG-44. It's a real fun video for me. I've been wanting to make this for a while, but you know, these guns can be a little finicky, so sorry it took so long, but I've been really wanting to do this video. I love this gun. I think it's so cool. It's just a neat video for me because, again, my passion for history and my passion for showing you guys firearm history and firearm mechanics and some of the etymology behind some of the more popular platforms today. It's also fun because it's a message directly to leftist media that I don't give a fuck what you think, and I'm gonna continue to do the things that I enjoy doing. So I'm not sorry, and you can go fuck yourself. But on that note, if there are any other historic firearms you guys would like to see on the channel that maybe we have our hands on, maybe we can get our hands on, we'll see. Go ahead and let me know down in the comments. I appreciate you for staying to the end, and as always, I will see you sexy YouTube mother lovers in the next video. Thanks. You follow me like you're gonna fucking see something. The show's over. Go home.
Even if I see a problem already, this is a touch more complicated mechanically. Fair. Even at the end of the war, production was seriously impacting production of other weapons. All right, fine. German, what do you expect from people who made the G11? Oh yeah. Those who don't know, G11 is a clockwork gun. It is weird. Well, you know what we're gonna do? It is a clockwork gun. That fires square cartridges that sit vertically in this big bar on top of it, get rotated 90 degrees, and then it fires. Can we get an internal? There we are, over here. You go down, it rotates, and then it fires. Because sure, why not? G11's weird. It does look good though. What's the other one that looks similar to it but is a very simple? What's the very simple version? The history nerd in me is starting to get going. What was it again? There's a Volksgewehr version, I think. High caliber COD, got a clock. It's called Kraut Space Magic for a reason. Volksgewehr. Okay. There we are. This one. These. I will accept that the STG-44 was probably a problem, but then switch to these simple versions. Oh well. They made bad decisions and they lost, and that's what matters.